I recently filmed a video where I put together my new bookshelves, which you see behind me. And in order to make all of my books fit in one place, I needed to purge my shelves just a little bit more. I know I've done quite a few unhauls this year, and most of that was because I wanted to make room on my new shelves. And to do that, I needed to get rid of some books that I was holding on to for like not even sentimental reasons. Sometimes you just hang on to books for the sake of hanging on to them because I bought them or I read them, and even though I didn't love them, I just kind of kept them because I got them and I read them. And so I decided it was time to purge some of the books that, just on further reflection, I was not willing to hang on to anymore. They were taking up space I didn't really have, and it was time to let them go. And so I decided it was going to be like a small part of that video, but then there's actually quite a few books here. So let me show you the books I'll be selling / donating depending on how the day goes. First book I will be donating is Swiss Family Robinson by Johann Wyss. I don't know how to say his name. This book is one of those very rare occasions where the movie is just so much better than the book. I actually got this because I used to love the movie and I thought it was so cool with the treehouse and everything. And I read the book and the book was just not as exciting. It was just nothing really happened in the book. So this is one that kind of came with a collection of other books that I did like. And so I decided there was no point really in holding on to this one when I just didn't enjoy it all that much. Next book I was kind of undecided about, but then it's another one I just didn't enjoy as much as the others, and it is Jackie Daydream by Jacqueline Wilson. I was such a Jacqueline Wilson fan when I was younger, and even now if I see she's come out with a new book, I'll get it from the library. But this book is kind of like her autobiography of when she was younger, and as much as I thought it was cool when I got it, it was like, oh, she wanted to be a writer since she was young, and that was kind of cool to see, but it wasn't the same as reading her fiction work. So this is not one I have any sentimental attachment to, and so it's time to let it go. Okay, Avalon High by Meg Cabot. This is kind of like a modern retelling of King Arthur, if King Arthur were like young adult kids in high school or whatever. It's kind of like The Kid Who Would Be King if it was set in an American high school. So I just, I didn't really like it all that much. The next book is actually one I've just finished reading, and I haven't even talked about it in a wrap up yet, but it was okay. And that is Little Black Dresses, Little White Lies. This is about a girl who takes on an internship and she like lies her way into it or whatever. And it's kind of like if How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days had a baby with The Devil Wears Prada, but it was like watered down for young adults. Hereafter by Tara Hudson. Now this book I actually really liked when I read it, but it was in that kind of post-Twilight era where every kind of book kind of was leading towards the same arc of the Twilight story. You remember those books where like everything was kind of the same? This one I remember reading the first chapter when I was in the bookstore and just like really wanting to continue it because it opens with a girl drowning. And I just thought it was so interesting and fascinating. But when I got to the end and I was like, oh, this is going the same direction, I never really wanted to continue the series. And anytime I've had the opportunity to pick up the book, either in the library or in the bookshop, I've just been like, no. And so for that reason, I just don't see a point in keeping it. All right, we got a collection here of The Famous Five by Enid Blyton, and it's the first 5 books in that series. I got this when I was going through an Enid Blyton phase. I loved The Naughtiest Girl in the School books. They were so funny, so entertaining, and I got then The Twins at St. Clair's, which I didn't like as much, but I still enjoyed, and then I got Secret 7 and The Famous 5, and I didn't like those at all. Did not like those at all. I thought they were so just like nothingy. They just made no impression on me whatsoever. And so it's probably time to give these to someone who will enjoy them. The next book is a novelty book, and that is Great Lies to Tell Small Kids. This is one I used to always flick through when I'd get to the shop. So when I actually got this at like a secondhand sale, I didn't like, I'd already read all of them when I was flicking through, and it's really funny, to be honest. Like, it's actually very funny. It's got things that are like, if you wave your hand down the toilet, people in Australia will see you. Like, stupid little things that are kind of funny, but like, what is this book? Why did I keep it? I paid like 50 cents for it, and it's just not something I think I'll ever really read again. and it kind of serves no purpose, and like I got the giggles out of it, and that's its purpose served, really. The last three books I'm going to show you are a trilogy, and they might surprise some of you because I did like a whole video making a bookmark like around this series, but honestly it's not, it's like a young adult dystopian series that I just didn't enjoy all that much. I was kind of coming out of the dystopian phase, wasn't really wanting to read any more of it, but I'd heard about this series from other booktubers and it sounded really interesting, but when I read it I just kind of thought it was like not that great. And that is Incarnate, Infinity, and Asunder by Jodi Meadows. These books have the most stunning covers. They are honestly like so beautiful, but in my opinion they don't have that like emotional connection that I need for a book and a story to work. And so for that reason they are on their way to their new home. So these are the books I am unhauling. They are, you know, decent books in their own right. They're just ones that I don't personally see myself reading again or ever reaching for or thinking about. And so for that reason they haven't earned their spot on my new shelves. Here's the thing, right? They would fit on my shelves. I could make them fit in like that space there and like, you know what I mean? But when I look at these new shelves and when I want to look at my book collection in the future, I want it to be like books that are my favorite, books that make me happy and excited, and when I look at them I'm like, oh, I remember reading that and I loved it so much, as opposed to being like kind of diluted by books that I didn't enjoy as much, or diluted by books that I didn't really enjoy and I just kind of kept because I got them and I didn't have that much cash when I got them, so it was like a big deal to get them. So I just have been doing quite a few unhauls this year, and that is mostly just to pare down my bookshelves to the books that I really enjoy. And I think I've got it to a place where I'm pretty happy at the moment. There's still one or two that I'm holding on to, but there's definitely I'm so much happier with where my collection is at the moment than I was like with the books I had 6 months ago. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.